I don't think you can simulate their pace. They're really good at what they do. They're fast at what they do. We try to, but I don't really delve into how we practice, publicly. So we keep that in house, but it is tough to simulate.
Kirby, how has Amarius looked just a few days removed from his first game back?
He's looked good. He's looked, he played good. He feels more comfortable with each day, and the highs and lows of that injury are, pretty common, and he feels good.
On the injury front, just wanted to get an update on how Warren Brinson has looked this week and after calf strain, like you said, and then didn't look like C.J. Smith was dressed out this past Saturday. What's he dealing with?
Yeah, CJ's dealing with a knee injury. It's been bothering him. He's had it off and on for a while, so we're hoping to get him back soon. Warren had a calf injury, so we're hopeful to get him back. He hasn't been able to do much this week. He felt it in the game some, but we're hopeful to get him back. He was out there today, moving around.
My understanding, Coach, is Brock is very competitive off the field. I just wonder when the initial discussions began about, hey, do we fix this and how quick could we get back? Was there any conversation about, well, Tua did it in 28 days, I can beat that, kind of thing? Was he set on beating the markers that were set out before him?
You're probably better off asking him that. He wanted to get back. I don't think it was never a rush. You don't rush an injury back, especially not somebody like that. You have markers to hit, and when you hit the markers, you go to the next marker. And once you hit the 4 markers, then it becomes, are you capable of playing at a high enough level to contribute to the team? So it was never about a number of days. It was about the markers. And he clicked those off, and he went to the next step each time. And then he felt like he had the confidence to go out there and play, and he did that.
Yeah, Coach, I think for the first time in your time here, you guys are throwing the ball more on offense than you are running the ball on offense. Does that say anything about the way your program's progressed during your time here?
No. I mean, we had Nick Chubb and Sonny Michelle when we got here, so we'd be fools to throw it more than we run it. They're both first-round picks in my mind. So it's really about your personnel.
Kirby, on the O-line, how important is alignment between a coordinator and an O-line coach, and how much did that figure in, I guess, a year ago or so when you were hiring Stacy, knowing that Mike was here too? And knowing that you might, Mike might.
I think I hired Stacy before Mike, but I'm not sure the order of events there, or maybe Mike was here, but he was an analyst, So I mean, I didn't. We hired Stacy because Coach Monken was really comfortable with Stacy. I was comfortable with Stacy. He had worked with him at LSU. I'd worked with him at LSU. He's a really good O-line coach. So the hiring of Stacy didn't have much to do with Mike. That really, the coordinator O-line is like a big deal. That's like that's his go-to guy. So they want to have a good relationship and a good understanding, and philosophies need to marry up. So that was really important to Monken in that hire. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, that's what you're asking. Because once we hired Mike, it was a no-brainer because he had already been a coordinator and he'd worked with everybody in the room.
Kirby, what has stood out to you about Mike and his role as coordinator and play caller this season?
His ability to adapt to the personnel we have. I mean, he's had a very rotating lineup. I mean, he's had this guy in, that guy out, this guy in, that guy out. He did have 2 tight ends. He didn't have 2 tight ends. Pierce been injured twice. Lawson's been hurt. Brock's been hurt. I mean, he's had backs in and out, wideouts in and out, in and out. So the ability to teach concepts and have plug-and-play players, his development of the quarterback, his leadership in messaging to the offense is critical because I'm not over there all the time. So he has to be the leader and voice of reason, and he relies heavily on his staff. He'd be the first to tell you he's got an incredible staff. Dale, Hartley, B-Mac, Searles are incredible, and the analysts are incredible. So when you put an incredible staff together, you get good decision-making, innovative, a lot of ideas. You know, that they present each week to him, so that he has good material to pick from.
You talked a good bit yesterday about Tennessee's run game, and they're one of the most explosive in the country statistically. What is it about the run game that allows them to be so explosive?
Well, it's the backs. It's the commitment to the run. It's the spacing of the receivers. You know, they're not playing in a phone booth. They're playing in a big farm field. I mean, they got everybody spread out, so when a run spits, it's going to go for a long way before somebody else gets to it. So your ability to tackle and fit runs is exposed at a 3 times the level. And they almost always have a good box count, meaning they got a hat on a hat and they're at an advantage. A man has to whip another man to be able to stop the run against them. And sometimes you don't do that.
Yeah, Kirby, I saw a clip today or after the game the other night, you called out, shouted out Amarius and Brock for working their way back. Just how important was that to you to, praise them in front of the entire team for what they did to get back from those injuries and surgeries they had?
Well, that's just a snippet of what you saw. I praised a lot of guys in that moment. I don't know what they pick and choose to play, so that's something that I don't have anything to do with. I'm certainly proud of those guys, but I was proud of a lot of guys the other night. Jamal Jarrett, he came back from injury twice. So proud of all the players that come back from injuries.
Coach, how much does the work you guys do, simulating crowd noise, truly help in situations like y'all going to see on Saturday afternoon?
Don't know. I wouldn't go play without it, but I can't tell you how much it helps. I don't honestly know how much it helps. It's hard to measure that. It could be. Some teams could do it more than we do it and have a young offense and have a lot of penalties. And then you could have a very experienced offense and not do it and not have penalties. I mean, it comes and goes. A lot of it has to do with the situation of your team and the focus of your team.
Kirby, when a team's coming off not their best outing like Tennessee last week, is it harder to get the attention of your guys to, show them the challenge that it might be given? Like last year they came in here as the number 1 team in the rankings.
It was today, but I don't know if it was because of that. I don't know what it was because of. They must be feeling themselves a little bit. I'm, a little disappointed. I don't think it has anything to do with Tennessee. I think it's just disappointing practice. We've had about 5 really good Tuesdays in a row, and they were not good today.
Yeah, Coach, when you have a bad practice like that, what's the key to getting guys to respond tomorrow, I guess?
Having a good core leadership, good culture on your team to respond.
One more housekeeping question. I think Jonathan Jefferson had to come off the field slowly the other night. Can you have an update on him?
He's good. Breath got knocked out of him, I think.
We're at the point in the year when a lot of teams are making changes with head coaches. When it comes to having assistants who wind up being candidates for jobs, what kind of advice do you typically give them as they go through that process?
Pick the right one. Be where your feet are. You got a good job. Do a good job at your job, you'll get more opportunities. I mean, a lot of jobs out there that aren't better than the one you got. Other questions? Thanks.